All right, we're back, dudes. And let's see, where did I leave off? I was gonna get into the story of the Bible, and then I started talking about John 3:16. Um, how we're convicted in our hearts of sin. I mean, the proof of God is, we all know that God is real because when we do something, we feel bad about it. Now we can excuse it by saying, "Oh, well, society just taught me that this is a bad thing, and therefore I feel that way." But um, that's not what the Bible says. And of course, those who don't believe the Bible are going to be like, well, I don't believe that. But um, the Bible, it predicts events that are going to happen, and it did predict correctly, like all these prophecies about Jesus. Like prophecies, God tells certain men what's going to happen in the future because uh, God's the Lord of time and space. He's going to know what's going to happen in the future because he's outside of time. So he tells these people, and then the people they tell everybody else what's going to happen because they're called prophets, and then this stuff happens. So if you look in the book of Isaiah alone, you could see all the prophecies that tell about, what to recognize in the Messiah, who is Jesus. But, a book that has been right about every single prophecy about Jesus, it's something worth taking seriously. Plus, with people read books, but the Bible is the one book that reads people. It kind of reverses it there. And it's a high time I got into this book. So let's just start with A number one, for chapter 1 of Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Okay, so that's the first part. And here's what basically happened. So I'm just going to give Valtor's version of the Bible. And I mean, I'm not going to make up new stuff. Everything I tell you is in there. So, let's see. He creates the heavens and the earth in a 6-day creation, and I think it's literal 6 days because otherwise plants wouldn't be sustained or something. I mean, there's evidence online of why it would be a literal 6-day creation. People think that it's like millions of years, but eh, look at the evidence online. It's online. Um, I got to stick with the Bible here. So in a 6-day creation, God makes the heavens and the earth, and He puts down plants. He puts a light. He puts animals. He separates the waters from the land. Blah blah blah, and it never ceases to say, and God said, and God did, and God created. And at the end of all the things that God creates, He creates this stuff, and it says, "Behold, it was very good." And I'm not sure why I tacked that goal bat there. I guess I thought I could take it, and I did, but it cost me. Stupid goal bats. So it was good. It was good. It was good. It always happens after God makes the creation. He says, "And God looked upon His creation, and behold, it was good." Then He creates people, and people are His favorite creation because, well, I think that because it says, "And God looked upon man, and behold, it was very good." So God seems to have special favor for man. So God creates man. He creates Adam and Eve. They're the first two people on earth. And God tells them, He's like, be fruitful and multiply. And the reason He created Adam and Eve was, I think He would say, have dominion over all the animals and stuff and subdue the earth. So um, the first place in the Bible that you hear of is, oh crap, wow, I'm getting distracted and I don't even pay attention to Dragonair stats. Jeez. Okay, yeah, I'll heal it in just a bit. But, alright, let's go. What happens is the Garden of Eden is made, and God places Adam and Eve in charge of tending to it. So they're like the gardeners of the garden, whatever. They're the maintenance people, and it's great to be the maintenance person back in the day because there are no thorns in the earth yet, and it's all easy and stuff. I believe there's a certain sense of freedom in work, like you always feel good after a hard day's work. You feel tired, but you feel good because you've really put in some real effort and you get this sense of satisfaction. I guess sort of like me playing Pokemon. I've done all this training work and I get this great sense of satisfaction, false though it is, of having all these good Pokemon that can beat all the everything the computer can throw at me. But anyway, I'm getting off subject. So anyway, um, God says, "All right, so you guys are to tend to my garden, tend to the garden, and subdue the earth, and have dominion." And He tells Adam and Eve, "And what you can eat, I'll give you all the trees of the garden as your food, and you're allowed to eat of all of the trees." And in the garden, there's this tree called the tree of life, and He says, and that's one of the trees they're allowed to eat from. And He says, but there's one tree you're not allowed to eat from. You're not allowed to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And if you do eat from the tree, on the day you eat, let's see, what does He say? He says, if you eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will surely die. That's how He worded it. You will surely die. So basically, right there, it says the wager of sin is death. You sin if you disobey God, then you will die. And we'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk for a second about what happens immediately following that. Let's see. So there's a serpent in the garden, and he's more crafty than all the other animals. And people, they're like, well, there's the stupid talking snake thing that makes this myth. Like, they're Indian legends of talking animals. Why should I believe the book of Genesis when it talks about some talking snake? Well, the serpent is actually Satan. And Satan, he's he is the most evil, the most powerful, and the most intelligent being, well, besides God, obviously, in all of creation. And here's the thing behind Satan. Satan tempts Adam and Eve. Uh, yeah, I'll go on the backstory about Satan right now. Here's what happened. Even before Adam and Eve, what happened with Satan? Satan used to be like the head honcho of God's worship committee. Like he was the greatest of all the angels, even better than Michael, even better than Gabriel. I mean, he was the man. I think now this isn't entirely from this isn't so much from the Bible. This is just me now. I used to think that Satan conducted God's heavenly choir, and he was up above all of them, and he was, let's see, he saw all the angels worshiping God, and eventually what happened, because he had all this great stuff, like he had all this authority and stuff, it got to his head, and he I think the first sin was found in him. Like, sin is found in Satan, and it's the sin of pride. He saw all these angels worshiping God, and he was like, well, I want to be like the Most High. And so here's what Satan does. He turns on God, and he convinces 1/3 of all the heavenly hosts, of all the angels, to say, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take over God's throne, and I'm going to overthrow heaven, and I will be like the Most High. So basically, he wants to declare himself God. But God was the creator. I mean, God created Satan. God is the one who made all of creation. So, I mean, God alone is the one who's to be worshipped. But so Satan, in his pride, he still tries to overthrow God anyway. I think he knew he wasn't going to win, but his pride just completely blinded him, and he wanted to win. So what God did was he rejected Satan and cast Satan and the 1/3 of the angels who'd gone up against him, cast him out of the heavenly places. So that made Satan mad. Like, Satan was angry that his attempt to overthrow his own maker didn't work. So when God created Adam and Eve and made them, in his own image, Satan thought, well, I can't get God directly, but what I'll do is I'll corrupt God's favorite creation, and that'll get me back at him. And so that's why Satan tries to mess with Adam and Eve. And whoa, I'm almost out of time. So I'll have to come back to this in the other part, but thanks for listening, and we'll be right back.